I have just gotten this wonderful 5-pound bag of pecan halves. So we're going to start off making a pie, and then I'll see what else I can come up with to cook with them. I have a lot of ideas. But anyway, this video is going to be how to make the basic pecan pie. So we start off, this is just the traditional Karo syrup recipe that's on the back of the bottle. And it has worked for me for years. You can actually use the light corn syrup or the dark. I thought about making one of each and tasting because I don't think I've ever tried them side by side to see what the difference is. But anyway, this one's going to be with the light. Now what you need to make this is 1 cup of Karo syrup, which I already have measured out right here. We're going to need 3 eggs, and I'm sad that I'm having to use store-bought eggs because my chickens are on strike apparently. So I'm going to have to go have a talk with them in a little while. We need 1 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of butter that's already melted. Just put it in the microwave. I put mine on the microwave at 50% power for like 30 seconds, and then maybe another 15 if it's not quite melted, but you don't want to you don't want to burn it, so be careful with that. We're going to need a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then 1.5 cups of pecans, and I took the halves and just kind of broke them so they're like roughly broken, they're not actually chopped. And we need a pie crust, a 9-inch deep dish pie crust, and I just have one of the rollout crusts. I like to make a homemade crust when I can. I had bought these because they were on sale, so that's what we're going to use. Just thought, and you can use one that's already in the pan if you want to. Just if you roll it out, just flatten it out, and then you can kind of crimp your edges a little bit if you want to. Just pinch it up so that you have the little V-shaped thing. And let me see if I can do a few of those. That makes it kind of pretty. But either way, I bet it'll be eaten. Okay, this is such a super simple thing and everybody goes crazy over it. So let's get all our stuff put in the bowl here. We're going to start off with the Karo syrup. Get that down in the bowl. It's thick, so scrape it all out in there. Okay, so next we need the 3 eggs. We'll just crack those right into there. 1, 2, 3. Then the cup of sugar. Dump that in. Our butter. Pour that in there. The teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now, normally, sometimes, I just measure out over my bowl. You're really not supposed to do that because if you slip and get too much, then you ruin your whole batch. So measure that out over something else. But there's a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And now we're going to stop and we're going to stir all this up. You can use a whisk. You can use a hand mixer if you want to. I'm just going to sit here and work on it by hand a little bit until everything is all mixed up. Get those eggs in there. You're also giving that sugar a chance to dissolve. Okay, so I have us all mixed up really well, and we can pour the pecans in. and stir them up a little bit. Make sure they all get some juice on them. And we're almost done. That's how easy this is, y'all. So now that they're all stirred in, we're gonna pour this in the crust. And you want to be sure you get the deep dish pie crust, otherwise you're going to go over the edge. Okay? So we got all that. And if you'll notice, the pecans are going to float to the top. That's fine. That's what it always does. Okay, now the next little gadget that I'm in love with, this is a Pampered Chef crust shield. And you can just lay it right on top of your crust like this. It's really lightweight, so it won't crush the edges. This keeps the crust from getting too brown when you cook your pie. So I usually leave it on there. We're gonna cook the whole thing for about 60 minutes. So at 40 to 45 minutes, I'm gonna check on it and I'm gonna remove this and let the crust finish browning. But for the first 45 minutes, you can just take foil and like lay it on top of there. I'll tear it in strips and lay it on top around the edges. But this is such an awesome little thing. I'll put a link to it down in the description box where I found this. And when you put it in the oven, you're gonna wanna put it on top of a cookie sheet like this in case it bubbles over. That will keep it from getting all over your oven. And when it's hot, especially if you're using a crust in a full pan, it's kind of wobbly when you pull it out. So put it on a cookie sheet so you can lift it out, okay? We're fixing to pop this in the oven at 350 degrees for 45 minutes. I'm gonna check on it and remove the shield, and then I'll judge from there whether I want to leave it in another 5, 10, or 15 minutes. And I'll get back with y'all when it's done and we'll see how this looks. Okay, it's been about 40 minutes, so I'm gonna pull it out and check the crust and let you see what it looks like as it's baking. Here we go. Isn't that lovely? And I'm going to remove that. You can see the crust still got brown, and it's very, I don't know if you can see it, it's very liquidy still. So it still lacks, a good 10 minutes. I'm gonna pop it back in without the shield now. And we'll check back in another 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, she's been in there baking about another 12 to 15 minutes, so let's pull it out. Yes. So, you can see it's still a little shaky, but not nearly as much, so it's good to go. Now, you cannot cut this hot. It'll just seep all over everywhere. So we're going to set it here and let it cool for a couple of hours, and then I'll come back and we'll cut a slice and see what it looks like cut, okay? Hang on a minute. It's finally time for the moment of truth. The hardest thing about this pie is waiting for it to cool. So let's just dig in and see what we got. I am so ready for this. Let's just scoop out a little piece. Oh, yes. Perfect. Well, I'm going to take my pie out on the porch and enjoy this piece. And you should make one too. You can see they're super easy and everybody will love it. Well, see you back next time in the kitchen with Mom. Bye.